Hi, this is William from Great Affordable Watches, and today I'm gonna take a look at the Orient Bambino version 3 generation 2. And this is the blue dial version. I will leave a link to this exact model down in the description with the full reference number. And thank you to dutyfreeislandshop.com for providing me with this watch for review purposes. So go check them out in the description down below. And as always, let's start off with the specifications. The case size is 40.5 millimeters in diameter. The lug width is 21 millimeters. The case thickness is around 11.8 millimeters, but that is actually to the top of the domed mineral crystal. So the actual case size is a lot thinner, and I would guess around 10 millimeters or below. The watch is water resistant down to 3 atm or 30 meters. And it got the somewhat new Orient automatic caliber F6724. The main difference between Orient Bambino Generation 1 and Generation 2 are that all Generation 2 features the new Orient automatic movement, the F6724. And this movement, as I said, features both hacking and hand winding, which the previous movement lacked. I don't know exactly what all the other changes are, but I think it's basically a completely new movement. And this movement can be found in a lot of new Orient watches, and not only Bambinos. And as always with Orient, this movement is made in-house by Orient themselves. So this watch actually features an in-house movement. And for the price of around 150 US dollars, I think it's quite incredible to have an in-house movement, just like a lot of Seiko watches. As some of you guys know and have probably seen, this is not the first Orient Bambino I review on my channel. I've actually reviewed I think 2 of them, and also a Orient Diver. So I'm quite familiar with this watch, but I've never had or taken a look at the version 3 Bambino before. And this is the most modern looking, modern inspired Bambino of them all. So I was quite interested in this particular model. And I really like blue dial watches and blue dial dress watches, so I thought this was a perfect opportunity to take a look at it. And if you watch my previous videos about the Bambinos, I really like them, and I think they are probably the best dress watch you can buy under $200. I think they offer incredible value. They are well built, great finishing, great specifications. But unfortunately, there are a couple of drawbacks, and I don't think this watch have fixed them, unfortunately. And we can start off with the drawbacks. The case size, as I said, is 40.5 millimeters in diameter, so it's a bit big for a dress watch. It's not extremely big, as we're gonna see on my wrist shot later on, but a dress watch should be well below 40 millimeters, so this watch is a bit too big. And it also features a mineral crystal, a hardened mineral crystal actually, and even though they are a bit more scratch resistant than acrylic, you can't polish these crystals that easily. You can polish them, but it's a lot harder and takes a lot more effort than a acrylic crystal. If you get this crystal scratched, it will probably stay that way. And they are quite easily scratched, and I've scratched quite a few of my Bambinos before. But yeah, that's a minor issue for me at least. But overall, I think this watch is incredible for the money. It got a sign crown, as we can see. That's not very usual on watches in this price range. So that's very nice to see, and I think a sign crown or edge crown really adds to the overall feeling of the watch. Perhaps that's just me, but I think it's quite nice with a sign crown. And something special, except that the case size is pretty thin for being an automatic watch, is that the sides are brushed and the top of the lugs are polished, just as the bezel. And that gives this watch a quite sophisticated feeling and looks. And I prefer that the watch case got a mix of brushed and polished surfaces, because if you tend to stick with just one of them, it will look a bit bland. And as I said before in my previous reviews, I think this watch is the perfect starting dress watch if you're getting into watch collecting, and even for people who are big collectors, I think this is a really nice watch. And for the money, I mean, you can't really go wrong with this kind of watch for under $150. You can even find these watches under $150, so I think it's pretty impressive what they are packing for the money. And I think this particular model, the version 3, looks really nice. I think the blue dial is perfect, and I think this watch looks very modern looking, and the other Bambinos look very vintage inspired, so I think this is quite refreshing. One complaint I got with the dial is that the hands are a bit short. I would like them to reach a bit longer, because now it looks a bit weird, but that's a very minor complaint when you get a watch of this quality for this price. I wish I would pay gladly a bit more if they would have gone for a sapphire crystal and a bit smaller case, perhaps 39mm. I would gladly pay $50 to $100 more for this watch, because the finishing and quality overall, as I said, is really nice for the money. And I mean, Orient really knows what they're doing with these watches, and a funny thing I noticed about this watch is that it actually says Epson here on the case back, and Epson, as we all know, is a Seiko brand, and the Seiko these days are actually made up out of two different watch sub-companies, or what we should call them, and Epson is one of them. I think that's a fun detail. And while we look at the case back, we can see it's very simple, but still very nice looking, and it got a pretty nice stamp here on the case back, Orient Automatic, with the logo, and I think it's quite nice overall. But enough of me rambling, and let's take a look at a wrist shot. Okay, here it is, and as we can see, it's really nice on my wrist. It's very thin, so it will easily slide under your shirt. And I've been wearing a King Seiko, 36mm King Seiko, for a few days now, so this watch feels a bit big, but I still think it sits quite nicely on my 7-inch wrist. As I said, it's a bit too big, but I think for a starting watch and a watch overall, if you got around 7-inch wrist or above, I think it's a nice option and a nice choice. And as we can see, the blue dial is gorgeous, and it's a really nice sunburst effect. It's not conic or triangular shaped, it's more round, and I think it looks quite good. I think if you pair this with a nice brown, reddish, golden brown strap, I think it would look amazing. And I can leave a link to a good looking strap down in the description that I've used a couple of times on my other blue dialed watches. And let me know what you think of this watch down in the comment section, and which Orient Bambino model is your favorite. For me, it's between the version 3, this one, and the version 2. I think those two look amazing. but the other versions look really nice as well. I've had the version 1 before, and the version 1 was actually my first automatic watch, and I really like that watch. But yeah, if you like this video, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel for more watch related content, and I hope I see you in the next one. Bye.